Hello, everyone. My name is Tammy Sherrill. I'm a professor at Wilfrid Laurier University here in Waterloo, Ontario, and I'm one of the co-authors of this textbook, Labor Market Economics. I'm looking at the 2026 release. And in this video, I'll show you how we created Figure 2.1 and a couple of the tables in Chapter 2 of your textbook. Now, one of the big objectives of this chapter is to help students get more comfortable working with data. Labor economists spend a lot of time with statistics. We're trying to describe how well a labor market is operating or how to think about different people working their way through a market. And this helps us address whether a market is working well or if maybe there's something we should be paying attention to. Now, to get us started, we'll take a look here at Table 2.1 from the textbook. Here we're showing you just how different labor force participation rates are across a selection of countries for both men and women. And notice at the bottom of every table, one of the things that we do is try to make sure you're able to go and find this data yourself if you wanted to be able to find it. So all of the countries we have listed here, all the information we have, we got this from the World Bank. If we wanted to open up their website, we'd have it right here. You'd be able to go to this website, find the series that we've downloaded. Maybe you can find more recent data than when we were preparing our textbook, and then you can work with everything going ahead from there. Now, for our purposes, however, one of the things that we decided to do was provide the Excel file that we downloaded and created in Connect with the textbook so that you can use it very directly. So perhaps you might take a moment to go into Connect, download that Excel file. I already have it loaded and ready for me. Right here, I have that titled LME 2026 Figure 2.1. Now, this is the Excel file that we actually have a much longer list of countries in, much more than you would have found in that table that we had in our textbook. Okay, so notice there's a longer list of countries there. And when we're looking at this table, you can see these differences across countries' labor force participation rates. You might start to wonder what may be driving those differences. And in the upcoming chapters, we'll help you work through some theoretical models that will help you structure thinking around all of that. But for now, we might just wonder if countries with higher incomes are very different from those with lower incomes. So with that Excel file in hand, we've got a nice list of countries here to work with. We can start to analyze that. Now, you might do that in Excel very directly. You can do a lot with Excel. Everyone has their favorite software, but I'm going to work with Stata today, and specifically, I've got version 18 on my computer. Now, if you go into Connect, one of the things that you can do is find the Stata do file that has all the syntax you need to create the scatter plot that we see in Figure 2.1. And I'm just going to pull that up right now. I have Stata 18 here on my computer, and this is the do file that I've put in Connect for you to be able to grab. Now, from here, you can see that at the top of my file, whenever I'm writing syntax and writing code, I like to keep a lot of notes that help me remember what I did, why I did this, where did I find all of this information, and what am I about to look at. And that way, if you look back at this in a few years, you're still going to be able to use it. But it's really these first few lines where I find that Excel file that we were just looking at, and I import that data into Stata. So I'm just going to run that here very quickly. When I go into my Stata window here, you can see that all of those variables that I was interested in from that Excel file are now imported. And when I look at it in my browser, you can see the list of countries that are there. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is think about creating Figure 2. This is really just two scatter plots that we put together. You'll notice that my code here looks a little bit clunky, but the first few lines are really just creating a simple scatter plot using all of the information from all of the countries that we have. I bring in a best fit line just to give us a general sense of a relationship between these variables that we're interested in. And then the rest of this code is really just trying to highlight some of those countries that we highlighted for you in that textbook figure. So I'll run this very quickly here just to get what this looks like. And if everything goes well, you should see pop up eventually here our figure that you see in our textbook. This is Figure 2.1. Now, What you can see here is that there is a general positive relationship between income and participation rates. That's true for women's participation rates in each country and as well men's participation rates. But you'll also notice many examples where income is quite similar across countries, but their participation rates appear to be very, very different, especially for women. So we expect there's other things out there that would be driving decisions about work other than what you're able to earn, and we'll work on trying to figure those out. Now, before we go, I'll point out that that best fit line is really just a simple OLS regression. And if you wanted to recreate what you find in table 2.4, you can do that over here with the rest of this code. So for example, if I wanted to run this little bit of code here, looking for a relationship between women's participation rates and the logarithm of gross national income, I could run that. And when I go back to my Stata window, I will see this great output for my regression and that correlation. So I know I have 168 countries in my list from that Excel file. If you were to look for a correlation coefficient here between participation and that gross national income, it's not huge. It's only 0.2803. We don't consider that to be a strong correlation. But when we're looking at the slope of that best fit line, we do know that that is statistically significant. So I would think of that as a positive relationship. I recommend going into Connect, checking out what we have available as resources for you when you're looking through this and other chapters. You should be able to find help with some of the other figures and problems in this chapter. Thank you for watching.